Good evening, Tuesday night, people. Last week I showed you Font of All Knowledge Folk 0.8 and promised there would be some open source tools to go with it. Well, as part of that, I've put together a little collection of open source tools. So tonight we're releasing 4 different things under the collective title of D3, or D's Developer DotCommands. The first of which will be part of that Font of All Knowledge set that I promised to show you, which is CH8 Show. CH8 files are ROM formatted 1-bit deep fonts, as mentioned last week, and I've written a viewer, and here you can see I've already pre-associated it in my browser, and that means you can then view the file. Here's just a simple view of it, and it's literally that simple. So that is the first of the 4 things we show you this week, and it's nothing more to show than that. It is that straightforward. But I will, for the sake of argument, show it from here. So CH8 Show, you should all be used to my bad typing by now, and there we go, and there are the details of it on a website if you wish to read more about it. But just to check where we are, there we go. So if I do CH8 Show, oops, you can't type, cinema.ch8, and this is Damien Guard's cinema font as used in the QE editor. I'm rather partial of it. I find it very good for my dyslexic brain. And again, simple view, and that's it. The other things we will see in this folder are some tar files. Now, they're not there by accident, of course, but I show you Antar. Antar is a POSIX compliant implementation of Antar, in as much as it makes sense for a POSIX compliant implementation of Antar on the Next. And for that, I mean there are many things that the tar format supports that Exodus or the Next doesn't. Hard links, soft links, devices, block devices, character devices. So this version of Antar supports none of the things that don't make sense on a Next. But what it does support is reporting that. So if I just untar this file here, oh, what did I spell? Aha, I can't type. Untar awkward.tar, that makes more sense. And there you can see it extracting, and you can see there it told you it's ignored a symlink. So that's the sort of output you would expect if you're using this Antar and you find something that isn't supported inside the tar format. I use tar files an awful lot for preserving test data in, which means I can just extract them into place. When I'm doing testing, means I've always got consistent data, and I know that I've not accidentally corrupted something between previous runs when testing my own apps. There are some other things in here that I shall now untar for you. Examples.tar. Let's hope I got that one right. Yes, I did. And those examples are useful for me showing off the next thing. Every file already exists. Ah, that's because I suspect there's something that already existed in this folder. That's fine. But as you see, tar even tells you when it's overwriting files, etc. But for now, we will go back to the browser. So let's just open every.bas. This is a simple example of my basic scheduler, every. And again, like all the rest of these tools, if you run them without any input, they will give you an example of how to use them and a link to a web page where you can read out more things. Every is a very, very simple scheduler. If I just show you that list again, the concept here would be to trigger the schedule, which is printing something, number 5 is alive, every 5th run. So if I run this, oh, before I get there, I should probably actually show you something else that's rather important. .qe, you remember .qe, of course. No, I tell you what. Yes. .qe / sys / every.ini. Oh, every.cfg, silly me. I've forgotten the name of my own config file. So here it is, and I've got various things in it, and I can delete them all. So we'll start our demo from scratch. So that's an empty file. That file could not exist, and it would happily create that file. So I'll run this script. And the first thing we now do is .qe / sys / every.cfg, and you can see there it's made default equals 1. Now, what I will do next time is I'll run it, so second running, third running, fourth running, and sys / every.cfg, and there you can see we've counted to 4. Now if I run it one more time, the schedule has been triggered. And if I just show you that config file again, oops, .qe / //every.cfg. You see the default is back to 0 and ready to go again. So, and if I run it, as you would expect, the default setting is now, 1. So there we go. So hopefully that explains how the scheduler works. You can set any value you want in here, and when that trigger is executed, the register 127, the user register will be set to true, and the script will run. Now, in and of itself, in that format, that is not super duper useful, but you can run more than one at once. So here, very simple script. It'll print once, then every time the second, this one here, every second time, we're calling this schedule every 2, rather than the previous schedule, which didn't have a name, which was called default. And then we'll do the same thing again here. So what we should expect to see is run it once, nothing happens. Run it again, twice. Run it again, thrice. Run it again, twice. Run it again, just once. And because now this is our 6th time of executing it, we should expect 1, 2, 3. There we go. And, as one would hope to see at this point in time, /sys /every.cfg, you can see here the entries have been added into our a config file. So we have one more example here to show you an actual real-world use case. And now this is how I use every personally. Routine startup done. And this is my startup script. What this does is every 10th time it executes the procedure, network tasks, and network tasks just sets the clock for me. So having already done that once, I can now do .qe /sys /every.cfg, and there we go. And you can see network tasks has now got a value of 1. And if you were paying attention when I cleared this file out earlier on, you'll notice some of these values were already in there because I was obviously testing before I started recording. Now, I'm going to add one more thing to this. 60.ini /sys /every.cfg, and I want to learn about the parameter work tasks. And if I run it, network tasks equals 2. And this is where we get to the 4th tool we're releasing today, ini.ini. Ini's job is literally to allow you to inspect and manipulate ini files from inside of BASIC without having to write a whole BASIC parser. Again, URL, you may notice these URLs will follow a very similar format using my own next URL shortener, so feel free to have a click around all those and have a look at the toolchain. Now, what we will do is, you just saw there when I ran that it said 2. I'll run it again, 3, 4, and I'm sure you can work out how this is going to work. So, 5. So it means the next time we run it, network startup is triggered, and network tasks is 0. And of course, if I do .qe /sys /every.cfg, there we go, network tasks is 0 as you would expect. The important thing here is with .ini, you can specify any ini or ini-like config file to do. Now, if I wanted to set this to 15, and for some reason I have a manual procedure elsewhere, I can do .ini /sys /every.cfg network, I always make that mistake, tasks, I will set that to 14. .qe sys every.cfg network tasks is 14, and if I run this one more time, because it thinks that was the 15th execution, and we're back to 0. So that are the 4 tools that I'm releasing today. That is part of the overall D3 suite. You can get all of these from zxn.gg/D3. They're all open source, all of the code is on GitHub, and you are more than welcome to have a poke around and see if there's anything there that's useful to you, be it the tools or the code. Thank you for listening. See you next Tuesday, and you're all wonderful Tuesday night people, and goodbye.